Welcome to this week's episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in as little as 15 minutes to build your dream business. And now here's your host, the Visibility Wiz, Cindy J.
Hi, I'm Cindy J, the Visibility Wiz, and welcome to this episode of Biz Success in 15. Today, I will be talking about how to be confident in uncertain times, and I'll be sharing some tips on how you can have your own thriving business during these uncertain times. You know, we're definitely living in some uncertain times here. I know I never thought that I'd be living in times like this. There's so much going on, and I honestly believe that we're in a very long and painful birthing process. Perhaps you feel as if your world's been turned upside down. Believe me, you're not alone. Many people feel this way, and I have had my doubts of feeling this way as well. So many people are struggling with the thought of building their business. You may think, how can I feel good about building my business and charging for my expertise whenever there's so many people out there hurting on unemployment? There's so many people out there fighting for justice. How can I be happy and create a thriving business? First of all, know that you cannot be sad enough to erase another person's sadness. You cannot be angry enough to erase another person's anger. And you cannot be broke enough to erase another person's poverty. Know that it's perfectly okay to live your life and to be happy. I believe that one of the ways that we can get through this painful birthing process is to be grateful for every little thing that we can. And another way is just to be kind to each other. Whenever you're kind and you do a kind deed for somebody, it's scientifically proven that it elevates their happiness, and it elevates your happiness, and it elevates the happiness of anybody who witnessed the kind deed. You know, each of us are on our own journey, and we were brought into each other's lives for a reason. So ask yourself, how can I be grateful for these people that are in my life while still being empathetic to their needs and their causes? Abraham Lincoln said, "A man's just about as happy as he makes up his mind to be." And I completely believe that it all starts in the mind. Everything starts in our mind, our thoughts. Our thoughts is what ultimately is going to create the habits that we utilize. It's going to create even the way that we habitually think. And so we want to create habits that are going to help us habitually think positive and be happy and create a better world to live in. Know that you can be confident and you can be happy while still being empathetic to other people and while being concerned about things that are important to you. You know, a few years back, my son broke his neck and he's made a full recovery, but I went and I cared for him in Phoenix for about 4 months. First of all, I was extremely grateful that he did not die or that he was not paralyzed. And second, I was really grateful that I had a business that I was able to take with me and work from any place, work from his house, work from the hospital, wherever I was able to care for him and still work. During this time, I was a divorce coach, and I had a client who she was a complete nervous wreck. She was really worried. She was really concerned because her 5-year-old son had to have some dental surgery. And after she cried to me and expressed all of her worries and her concerns about this procedure, and then she looked at me and said, "I am so sorry. I have no right to be complaining to you considering what you're going through." And truthfully, she felt exactly the same way as I did. There is no difference. As humans, for some reason, we always want to rank things. We want to think this is worse than that, or, oh, you have it so much worse than I do. But bottom line is, regardless what we go through, we all experience pure human emotion. We all feel all emotions at some point in our lives. Fear is fear. Anger is anger. Sadness is sadness. Happiness is happiness. We felt all of them. It's a part of life. And know that regardless what you're feeling, it's perfectly okay to empathize with someone without making yourself wrong. She was not wrong to be concerned. She was not wrong to have her feelings. And I was not wrong to empathize with her. I was able to empathize with her despite what I was going through. It's completely okay for you to find peace and happiness within yourself. And it's completely okay for you to build your business during these trying times. And it's completely okay for you to share and be paid for your unique gifts and knowledge. So let's talk a little bit about how to be confident during these uncertain times. For the most part, the future has always been uncertain. We've just taken it for granted that things would always be the way they were. And we were never promised that, but we got really comfortable with the way we were living. We want to be confident of a certain outcome, but we can never be certain of a certain outcome. But you can be confident in actions that you will take, and you can be unapologetic and stand tall and stand proud in your expertise. The only thing that you can control is your actions. You can never control the outcomes. You can do your very best to get the outcome that you want. One of my favorite books is a classic, Dale Carnegie, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. To me, the main message in this book is to accept the worst case scenario. So whatever it is that you're worried about, if you accept that it could happen, then you're going to be more at peace about it. And secondly, once you accept that the worst case scenario, determine what the best outcome is that you want, and then take action to create that outcome. Again, there's no certainty. There's no certainty that anything's ever going to work, but you can be confident that you will take action. And whenever you start taking action towards what you want, you are creating a more positive outcome in the future. You know, I know and I understand that you're afraid of a lot of elements of building your business. And we're always going to be uncomfortable. There's always more to learn, regardless where you are in your business. Even, millionaires, multimillionaires, they have their concerns about their business and how to run, but they're confident that they can take action with whatever happens. And this is what I would love for you to develop, that confidence that regardless what happens, that you will continue to take positive action towards the positive outcome that you want. A lot of times, again, I've said this before, we want to be confident before we take action, but we can't. Think about things that you've accomplished in your life that you might have sucked at first. And because you was interested in it, you continued and you succeeded. A lot of us can relate to this as far as driving is concerned. We may have been really excited to drive, but the first time we got behind that wheel, we were like, oh my God, we're super excited. But then we're like, there's so much to learn. I have to, where do I put my hands? Where do I put my feet? When do I move my foot from the gas to the brake and from the brake to the gas? How hard do I push on the gas pedal? How do I look at the mirror and watch in the rear view mirror, watch in the front of me, watch the sides? There's so much to it. And whenever you first got behind that wheel, you were uncomfortable. But now, after you've been driving for a while, you can drive anywhere without even thinking about it. And this is about you taking action. Had you not continued to take action driving, you never would have got comfortable with it. My mother was a perfect example of this. She was terrified of driving. The first time she drove, I don't know what happened, but she got afraid, so she would never drive again. And so it's very interesting whenever you think that it just means that you have to continuously take action whenever you're afraid and whenever you feel uncomfortable to get comfortable and confident with whatever you're doing. Whenever my son was born 15 months after my daughter, I faced a dilemma because childcare for babies back then was practically null, and it would have cost me almost my entire paycheck for childcare. So it made no sense for me to work. And also, my husband and I only had one vehicle, but I knew that we needed some extra money coming in. So I decided to go the party route. And I chose Tupperware because I knew that I could become a Tupperware manager and get a brand new car. And the only thing that I'd have to pay for was gas. Now, back then, the requirements to become a manager was to sell $2,000 in Tupperware, to recruit 5 people, and the entire team had to sell $5,000 within a 30-day period. I had no idea what I was doing or how I would do it, but I was completely focused on achieving that goal. And I wasn't confident in my abilities. I really didn't know how to sell Tupperware. I wasn't confident in recruiting people. However, I followed everything that my manager told me to do. And in 6 short weeks, I became a Tupperware manager. I won an award for achieving this accomplished quicker than anybody had before. And it probably took me a good year before I really felt comfortable in my abilities. So even if you are not feeling comfortable, you can still achieve some great successes. It all begins with a simple choice. And so right now, I ask you to make a pact with yourself to follow these 4 power steps to become your own exciting path to confidence. So PACT stands for P is for peace, A is for acknowledge, C is for courage, and T is for trust. So let's go over each step. To experience more confidence in your decisions and in your everyday actions, it's really important to make peace with your past, your present, and your future. Whatever happened in the past is gone. You cannot change it. And whenever you keep it in your mind, you're the one that's keeping it alive just by thinking about it, by wallowing over it, or by thinking, oh, I shouldn't have done this, or I could have done this, or I could have done that. Whatever is past is past. It's impossible to change the past. So make peace with it. Whatever it was, it happened. You made a mistake, somebody yelled at you, somebody did something wrong to you, whatever happened, it's gone. So make peace with your past and make peace with your present. So often we're fighting whatever's happened. I know, some people are like, oh, I don't like the state of the world right now. I don't like having to wear a mask. I don't like not being able to go party the way that I used to party. I don't like being able to go to networking events. I don't like being able to go speak to my clients one-on-one. Whatever it is, you're fighting what reality is. So whatever's happening in the present moment, just make peace with it. And this includes your feelings. We were talking about feelings earlier. So if you start feeling angry or sad, allow yourself to feel it. Make peace with whatever is happening in your life at that moment. The more moments you make peace with, the happier you're going to be, and the more your business will thrive. And then make peace with your future. Sometimes we think, oh, well, whenever this happens, I'm going to be great. Everything's going to be great whenever I achieve this. And then what you're doing is you're robbing yourself of the joy and the gratefulness and the happiness and the peace in the moment. So you want to set goals, but you don't want to be attached to them. To acknowledge, you want to discover your truth. You want to embrace your strengths and accept your weaknesses. So whenever you acknowledge something, you are being aware that it's there. It doesn't have to affect you unless you let it affect you. So acknowledge, discover your truth. What is your truth? What is your passions? What makes your heart sing? What are you afraid of? What are your strengths and your weaknesses? Whenever you start acknowledging all these things, it's really easy for you to make peace with them. And the only way you can change anything is by acknowledging it. Also, acknowledge what it is that you need to run your business effectively. What is it that you need to learn? Who can help you? So acknowledging where you are is basically what you're doing. Third comes courage. You want to have the courage to feel uncomfortable. You want to have the courage to feel the fear and step through it while taking inspired action. Courage is just choosing to take action. So you want to choose to be confident. That's taking action. And being confident is a choice. You want to choose to be consistent. You want to create a plan and then choose to be consistent with that plan. Be courageous enough to take action on your plan. And choose to be happy and create a life and business that you love. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is actually walking through the fear. So many times we look at people who we see as successful and we think, oh, they don't have any fears. But that's just not the case. We are all afraid, regardless how successful a person is. Everybody has their fears, and they need to have the courage to walk through them. Courage and confidence are separate things. You're confident that you will take the action. You're confident that you will do your very best. And courage is just taking that deep breath and taking the leap with whatever it is. Last year, I went on a cruise and my daughter talked me into going ziplining because I'd always told her, hey, I want to go ziplining one day. And the second that I let go, I loved ziplining. I just fell in love with it. So I ziplined from point A to point B. And then they unstrapped me and then they took me from point B to point C. And I'm standing there on this platform at point C and I'm looking at point B and I'm looking, oh my God, there's this 100-foot cargo net bridge, suspension bridge, that I had to walk up to get to the next level to take me back to ground zero. And I thought, oh my God, I don't want to walk up this cargo net. That scared me. But also, I could have turned back and freaked out. But I took a deep breath and I said, hey, Cindy, you can do it. You can do it. And so as I'm going up this cargo net thing and looking down, hundreds of feet below me, I just kept focusing on where I wanted to go. And I kept telling myself, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And I can tell you, whenever I finished that, I was ecstatic. I was like, I did it. Yay, I did it. And this is the way you want to have that courage, just to take that step, just to step up on that cargo net suspension bridge, to step off of the diving board, whatever it is. This is going to help you move forward. And once you start doing things that you're afraid of, you become less afraid of them. Because typically they're never as bad as what our fears make them out to be. And T is for trust. You want to trust the process. You have the knowledge. You've created a plan. You know what your action steps are. So trust the process and trust your inner guidance. You're learning from people that's already done what you want to do. So you have a roadmap. Now, also in this, you want to trust your guidance. If something doesn't feel like your truth, remember step 2 is acknowledge, and part of that was acknowledge your truth. If it doesn't feel true to you, don't do it. My very first coach taught me things that I still utilize today, especially about social media. She was brilliant at social media and taught me so much. However, she was very stuck in her way. She used to always tell me, if you don't do exactly what I tell you to do, exactly when I tell you to do it, exactly how I tell you to do it, you will never succeed. Now, things she was telling me to do did not fit with my values, my personal beliefs, my values, my business values. It just didn't fit with me. So I absolutely could not do these things. I didn't want to do something that made me sick to my stomach and kept me up at night. So therefore, I chose to do it my way. And because I did it my way, I succeeded. And I find it very sad that this gal is not a coach anymore. She was very smart, but she was so stuck in her way and she wasn't able to follow her inner guidance. And because whenever you tune in with your inner guidance, it's never going to steer you wrong. And you have the roadmap, You want to follow the roadmap, but at the same time, trust your inner guidance. And whenever you learn to tune into your inner guidance and you trust it, it's going to keep you from those accidents. It's going to keep you from making mistakes in your business. And it's going to direct you on the path that you want to go to have the thriving business that you want. Again, you want to make a pact with yourself to be confident and to have a thriving business. You want to make peace with the past, present, and future. You want to acknowledge where you are and acknowledge your strengths and your weaknesses and acknowledge your truth. Very, very important. See, just decide that you're going to take that courageous act. You're going to be courageous and you're going to do that what you're afraid of when you feel that it's taking you in the right direction. And T, trust the process. Trust that you will get there and trust your inner guidance. Okay, so now I'm going to share a couple of traits that businesses that thrive in trying times have. Number one, they meet a clearly defined need. And I'm sure most of you out there have your clearly defined need, the solution that you have to people's challenges and problems. Number two, they abandon the ego of that's how we've always done it, because times change and you need to change with the times. And third, they ask themselves, what opportunities are there during these trying times? Every challenge creates opportunities. So ask yourself, what opportunities do I have because of the trying times? And fourth, build relationships, build strong relationships, really understand and communicate with your customers. And five, they're persistent and they're creative. So make a pact with yourself to follow these 5 steps, and you will be able to create your own thriving business, and you will be confident in your ability to create a thriving business during these trying times. So what I would like you to do for this 15-minute strategy is just really brainstorm what opportunities you have right now. You know, John Assaraf, he has an affirmation that says you have all the resources you need right this second to make a masterpiece out of your life. So start brainstorming. What opportunities do you have? What resources do you have right now to create your own thriving business? So you brainstorm this for 15 minutes and see what you come up with. And once you do this, then you choose one of them to take action on. And whenever you do this, you can do this once a week, once a month, once a day. But every time you do this, you are getting one step closer to achieving your own dream business. So if you enjoyed today's show, feel free to share it with your friends. And you can hop on over to bizsuccessin15.com/be confident. That's biz, B-I-Z, success, N-I-N, 15.com/be confident. No space between be and confident, all lowercase. BECONFIDENT. And you can re-listen to today's show, and you can also grab your own free copy of 5 Secrets to Online Visibility. So I hope you have a great week, and next time on Biz Success in 15, I'll have another top expert who's going to share a hot tip or strategy that you can implement in 15 minutes or less. Big hugs. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Biz Success in 15. For all links mentioned in today's show and to watch or listen to previous episodes, visit bizsuccessin15.com. Thanks so much for listening, and be sure to tune in next week for another amazing guest.